Beauty Lies Within by MiraculousDragonMaster. This is the last chapter, chapter 24, Aftermath and Celebration. Soon the bright light had died down, and all of the couples floated down to the ground, all of them still lip-locked. Slowly, they each broke their kiss. Then they looked around and saw that Chrysalis was gone, and that the changelings that were with her had changed into colourful forms, like the followers of King Thorax. "Did we really do it?" Fluttershy asked. Everyone looked around to find any sign of the jealous changeling queen. Suddenly, one of the reformed changelings caught something in his magic. Everyone came over to see what it was. To their surprise, it was Chrysalis, who was now a little metallic beetle who could talk. "Release me, you traitor!" she squeaked angrily. Rainbow Dash, Sorin, Pinky, Cheese and Discord busted up laughing and fell onto their stomachs at the sight of the powerless queen. That is too priceless! Discord howled with laughter as he rolled around on the ground, clutching his stomach. "Silence, you pathetic fool!" Chrysalis screeched again, but it only made the ones guffawing laugh even more at her attempt to sound threatening. Finally, the chuckling ones were calmed down. Discord snapped his fingers and a glass jar appeared with the tiny Chrysalis inside it. He then quickly screwed the lid on to keep her from escaping. Rainbow Dash looked at the tiny beetle inside the jar. "Well, at least we know that even if she tries to escape, she doesn't stand a chance against us." Twilight came over to look at the changeling queen. "I don't understand something, though," she said. "Why did she turn into this?" "I believe we have an answer for that," a regal voice said from behind. Everyone looked back and saw that Celestia and Luna had appeared. "Princess Celestia!" Twilight exclaimed. She ran up to her old mentor and gave her a huge hug. The Sun Princess returned it. "I am so glad you are all right, Twilight," she said, her voice dripping with relief and delight. She then looked over at the other members of the main six. "All of you." She held an arm out to them, silently inviting them to join the hug. The other girls didn't hesitate as they joined in, along with Luna. "So why did Chrysalis turn into a puny little bug?" Applejack asked the princesses. "The elements and love you all shared shrunk her down to represent the love in her heart." "Will she ever change back?" Fluttershy asked, looking at the minuscule beetle. "If she ever learns to truly love," Luna answered. "Knowing Chrysalis and how much planning she put into a plot to try and kill us, that might take some time," Rainbow muttered. "But it is always possible to learn how to love," Celestia said, "even if it takes 1,000 years or more." "So what do we do with her?" Twilight asked as Fluttershy took the jar from Discord and displayed the tiny changeling queen to the princesses. "Since she is powerless in this form until she learns the value of love, we'll just place her in a cell of Canterlot Castle," Celestia replied. Her hand lit up with golden magic, and the jar disappeared from Fluttershy's hands. "I think now it is a good time to celebrate," Luna said. "We are at last safe from Chrysalis, and our beloved elements of harmony have returned to us." The main six all blushed, and then Pinky jumped up. "You know what this means?" she asked excitedly. Cheese then quickly zipped up by her side. "I think so." "He said, 'Party!'" they exclaimed, hugging each other and jumping up and down. Everyone else laughed at the scene. A few days later, the biggest party since the wedding of Cadence and Shining Armor was held in Canterlot. Pretty much all of Equestria attended, delighted that the main six were back and that Queen Chrysalis was no longer a threat. Pinky and Cheese made doubly sure that this party was to be the best party ever thrown in history. There was so much food, decorations, and music blaring loudly as it echoed throughout the ballroom and out into the gardens, where the party spilled out to. The main six were back into the dresses that Discord had given them while they were staying at the castle of the two sisters. The guys wore similar party clothes with wild colours and designs. Everyone was dancing and enjoying themselves as the night continued on. As Twilight was playing with Flurry Heart, Cadence came up to her. "Twilight, may I speak with you for a second?" "Sure, Cadence," Twilight said, and set Flurry down. "I'll be right back, Flurry," she said. Flash then came up to them. "I'll keep her occupied," he said. Flurry smiled and giggled as the guard picked her up and began to spin her around in the air. When they were at a good distance, Cadence then turned to her sister-in-law. "I'm really glad you're safe, Twilight," she said. "Me too," Twilight replied. "But I have a feeling that's not what you really want to talk about." Cadence shook her head. "Actually, it's about those requests for courtship that we discussed a few weeks ago." Twilight placed a palm on her forehead. How could she have forgotten about that? "I plan to write back to the dignitaries, saying that you refused because you were already seeing someone," the Princess of Love said. Twilight's eyes widened, and she looked back at Flash, who was playing with her niece. She smiled lovingly at the scene, but then back at Cadence. "How did you know?" she asked. Cadence smirked. "I can literally see the love radiating from the two of you every time you look at each other," she answered. "And not just you two. Your friends, and they're special ones as well. The love each of you share is definitely the strongest I've ever seen or felt, besides mine and Shining Armor's." Twilight blushed at her sister-in-law's words. "In that case, I have a feeling that things will definitely get more interesting from now on," she said. "Yes, indeed," Cadence agreed. At the end of the room, Rainbow Dash and Soren were with the rest of the Wonderbolts. Spitfire was looking very sternly at Rainbow. "You have a lot of gall to just disappear like that on us, Crash," she said, crossing her arms. Rainbow saluted her captain. "I'm sorry, ma'am," she said. Spitfire unfolded her arms. "However, knowing that your life was in danger, I'll let your unexcused absence slide just this once." Rainbow maintained her salute. "Thank you, ma'am," she said. The captain of the Wonderbolts then smiled at her. "At ease," she said, and then placed an arm over her shoulder. "It's good to have you back, Rainbow Dash." Rainbow smiled. "It's good to be back," she said. She then removed herself from her captain's grip and went to talk with the other Wonderbolts. Spitfire then turned to Soren. "So, you and Rainbow, huh?" she said. Soren rubbed the back of his neck while looking at the rainbow-haired young woman mingle. "Yeah, I guess so," he said. Spitfire nudged him in the ribs. "Don't play shy with me," she teased. Everyone on the team was taking bets for how long it would take for you to finally ask her out. Soren's eyes widened. "Really?" he asked. Spitfire nodded. "But never mind on those. I knew that you two would end up together, no matter how long it would take." "You better take good care of her, Clipper." Soren smiled. "You know it," he said. With Applejack and Spike, the young blonde woman was hugging her family one by one. "I'm so sorry for just disappearing like that. With not even a note." Granny Smith released her older granddaughter. "Aw, that's all right, Sugar Cube," she said. "We're just glad you're A-OK." Applejack smiled. Spike came up to her and wrapped an arm around her, making her smile and lean into him. Granny smiled at the scene. "It seems you have found yourself someone," she said. AJ nodded, a red blush on her cheeks. "It seems so," she answered, looking up at her special love. "And I discovered that the girl of my dreams was right in front of me all along," Spike added, holding AJ tight. When Rarity and Fancy Pants were getting some drinks, Fancy turned to his lady love. "So, about that little meeting," he said. Rarity then remembered their conversation before she left with her friends to Manhattan. "Oh, of course," she said. "How does next week sound to you?" Fancy asked. "Does that sound like you're asking me out?" Rarity asked coyly, getting closer to him. Fancy returned to the playful grin. "Perhaps," he said. "What do you say?" Rarity smiled. "I would say that my answer is a definite yes," she answered. The two smiled at each other before Rarity laid her head on her loved one's chest. "Thank you for saving me," she said. "For you, my dear. Anything." Fancy said as he lovingly stroked her hair. Pinky and Cheese looked around the ballroom, loving how well the party was turning out. But still, Pinky couldn't help but feel like there was something missing. "You know what, Cheese?" she said. "I think this party needs one more thing." Cheese thought about it for a few seconds before it hit him. "Light bulb!" he exclaimed. "How about you and the girls have one more musical number?" Pinky smiled widely at him. "You read my mind," she said. She placed a kiss fully on his lips before skipping over to Fluttershy and Discord. "Hey, Fluttershy," she said. "How about you, me and the other girls sing a song?" Fluttershy began feeling weak in the knees as she looked around the crowded ballroom. In front of everyone?" she stuttered nervously. Discord put a reassuring arm around her. Immediately, Fluttershy felt her nervousness start to fade away. "It's all right, my dear," he said, turning her to face him. "You won't be alone. And everyone is going to love you more than they already do," he said. "Really?" she asked. "Of course," he said, placing a hand on her cheek, making her lean into his touch. "I know I do." Fluttershy smiled at him, a pink blush on her face. "Okay." She moved away from her loved one and followed Pinky to gather up the rest of the girls. Soon they were on stage. Twilight came up to the microphone and cleared her throat, getting everyone's attention. "Good evening, Cantaloupe," she greeted cheerfully. "Is everyone having a good time?" Her answer were loud cheering, making her giggle. "Oh, well, that's good to hear. Now, my friends and I want to share a song to celebrate our freedom and Equestria's from Chrysalis's terror, and our newfound loves with the special men who captured our hearts." Everyone awed at that statement, and the men in particular smiled lovingly at the girls up on stage. "We have proved that both love and friendship can overcome any fate or danger. Now let's keep this party going!" The crowd cheered again as the music started to play. The main six started to sing as they danced on stage. "I believe, I 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 believe, believe in love, love, love. When you can't see the forest for the trees, follow the colors of your dreams. Just turn to friends that help transcend to love, 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 love." Twilight, Rainbow and Fluttershy then flew up in the air as they danced and twirled, while Applejack, Pinky and Rarity stayed on the stage. By now the crowd were joining in on the singing. "I believe, I 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 believe, believe, I believe in love, love. I believe, 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 believe in love, love, love. The terror's finally passing on. Hope is back, the queens are gone. Come dance with me, 'cause now we're free to love, love, love. By now the guys had joined their girls dancing, whether up in the air or on the stage. "I believe, I 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 believe, believe in love, love. I believe, 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 I believe in love, love, love." Finally, as the song drew to a close, all of the dancing couples in the air and on the stage looked into their respective partners' eyes and shared a loving kiss, making the crowd cheer wildly at the loving scene. It really did seem like love truly does conquer all. In the hall, where shadows of stained glass windows were, depicting important events in Equestria's history, a new one was now shown. This one showed the main six and their loved ones, each in a separate coloured heart, along with the girl's element of harmony. Chrysalis was in the middle, as coloured beams from each couple were fired at her. This will forever show the victory over the changeling queen, and how the main six found everlasting love. End of story. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed that one. I really like that Chrysalis turning into a tiny bug. I'm seeing a reference to Descendants there. I was sorry if my singing's not great. That song doesn't actually have that many words, but I don't think the pitch of my voice suits it very well. But it's a fun song, so I tried. Anyway, you guys know the drill. Like, comment and subscribe and hit that bell to get notified whenever I upload a new video. Have a good day, night, or whatever time zone you're in. Bye my guys, gals and non-binary pals. I'll see you in another video. Take care.